Hi guys. Happy Thursday, I think. So, how is everybody? I hope good, I hope. Alright, so last night I did just probably a really long blog, but it was just a little blog. Okay, it was a really long blog on the pentagram. So the flaming pentagram, or Star of David. So we have that now under our belts for Ouija Magickal Boot Camp. So what else did I want to tell you guys? So we went over we've gone over so much. It's incredible. It is literally incredible. So how are we doing with our reenactments? Are we doing them? Are we doing good? Do you guys need help with anything at all? If not, then good. Very good. I'm trying to find something that I want to share with you guys. Alright. So, in the realm of transmutations. Have fun. So, alright, transmutation. What do you guys think that means? Transmutation. What does it do? What do you transmute? Transmutation. Transmute, which is basically transformation of one thing to another. So, transmutation. Burn your sigil. Boom. There you go. Transmutation, I think. Alright, so this is pretty good. So, the Hebrew Bible, I have got to get my hands on. There's much magic in that book, but I don't want to go through the depression that when I did the whole God versus Lucifer series, whatever, that depressed me to no end. It made me sick. I was sad. I was depressed just from reading the Bible. It made me so sad and so sick. So, I don't think I'll go there yet. I don't want to be sick yet. And no, I'm not evil or anything like that. So, alright, transmutations and metamorphosis have always been, in the opinion of the vulgar, the essence of magic itself. So, that is the opinion of the vulgar, the people that perverse the great work. So, yet the vulgar, who are the echo of general opinion. So, these people, the vulgar, that destroy, that place bad reputations on, say, the board, the pentagram, anything, making a mockery of it, that would be the vulgar. So their opinions really don't matter. It's a general opinion. So a queen of the world are never completely right nor totally wrong. So everybody has a very good viewpoint on what they, on magic, and, everybody gets it, everybody understands it. Well, not everybody, but most people that have been working this long. Wow, God. Since I was 7, I have been doing this. What a long, amazing journey. Alright, so, okay, magic truly changes the nature of things, so we all know that, or it rather just modifies their appearance as desired, according to the force of the will of the operator and the fascination of aspiring adepts. So, fascination. We have glamours. What kind of magic would that fall under? Illusionary. Like the invisibility, where you literally will yourself to be invisible in public, and it does work. You just kind of, you cast a gaze, literally with your eyes, to people, and you surround yourself with the cloak of invisibility, which is a metaphor. I hope people understand that, what a metaphor is. And you just slowly You maneuver your way through society without people seeing you. So, I've done it, and it does work. It's very, very fun. Well, if you need to, I wouldn't say do it just because you want to see, like, say you want to look in the mirror, you're going to see yourself. It doesn't work that way. So, alright, so the word created its form. What is the word? What is the word? Alright, and when a person reputed to be infallible has named a thing with whatever name, he truly transforms that thing into the substances of the substance signified by the name that he gives it. This is where words, names, come into great play, have lots of power. So whatever you name something, and you focus and think about it a lot. Boom, there you go. You are creating. You gave something a name, say a servitor, or a thought form. You named it, you created it first with your verb, and with your thought. Boom, you got it. Alright, so, the masterpiece of this kind of the world, and of faith. This is the real transmutation of substance, whose appearance does not change. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. So, we know that the magnetizers can make the water that they give to those they hypnotize have any taste that they wish. I can't be hypnotized. So, if we suppose a mage, a witch, with enough power over the astral fluid to magnetize an entire assembly of people, previously prepared to be magnetized through sufficient overexcitement, basically, we can easily explain not the evangelical miracle at Cana, but works of the same type. So, pretty interesting, pretty fun. It's pretty creative. Transmutations, just like how Baphomet has been transmuted into a perverse goat. The satanic side of, well, the darker side. So, pretty interesting. Alright, so, alright, now on love. This is pretty cool. Alright, so love is a dream of enchantment which transfigures the world. So, when you're in love, all becomes music and perfume, all becomes euphoria and happiness. So, that's what kind of love energy gives off. That's what you get back from love energy, is that, which is incredible. So, things are for us what our interior verb makes them to be. So, to believe oneself to be happy is to be happy. If you're on the path of destruction, then you're destruction. So the life of beings, any being, is a progressive transformation whose forms we can determine, renew, conserve for longer, or destroy sooner. So, basically without us, the different gods and goddesses that we do honor, the different spirits, they would not be here. They still would be here, I personally think. They wouldn't have the attention that they get from us by actually giving them offerings, giving them candles. So, it's pretty interesting stuff. Alright, so. Alright. So we have, yes, the life of beings. Alright, the animal forms communicate their sympathetic imprints to the astral body of man. Alright, so when we see our dogs smile, we are literally we're magnetized to our dogs, our cats, pets, whatever, and we can see them smile, but that is it's their astral form that we sense, but we see. So it's a kind of like a fascination that the dog does. Doggy magic. That's what I would take that as. So, yes, it imprints to the astral body of man. So, and then we interpret that with feeling, and boom, we see the dog smile, we see the dog frown, that kind of stuff. My dog actually does smile though, which is pretty funny. So, which are soon reflected in his traits, according to the force of his habits. So, alright, we can metamorphose plants and change their virtue. We can give minerals ideal properties. Ideal properties. Minerals, plants. Where'd I go? Okay, so yeah, one must only will it. So one can also, at will, become visible or invisible. And we will explain here the mystery of the ring of Gyges. So, alright, to become invisible. This is pretty cool. To become invisible, basically, one of three things is necessary. So, one, either to interpose an opaque medium of some kind between the light and our body, or between our body and the eye of the observers, or to fascinate the eye of the observers in such a manner that they cannot make use of their eyesight. So, of these three manners of becoming invisible, only the third is magic. So, it's pretty neat. And there's a book that this book recommends. It's called Petit Albert, and it is quite a bit. It's a lot. A lot of stuff going on in that book. So, it's pretty good. Alright, so, okay, so it, let me see where I go. Okay, so, one of the figures represents the cycle of universal, harmonious, and balanced movement in the imperishable being. So, the other, which one must form from the amalgamation of the seven metals, merits a more detailed description. So, this is on Talisman almost. So, it must have a double bezel with two precious stones, one of topaz, constellated under the sign of the sun, and the other of emerald under the sign of the moon. Now, within they must have the occult characters of the planets, and without their known signs, represented twice and in Kabbalistic opposition to each other. So that is to say, 5 to the right and 5 to the left. The sign of the sun and the moon summarize the four diverse intelligence of the seven planets. Interesting. So this configuration is nothing more than the pentagram, expressing all of the mysteries of the magical doctrine, and the symbolic meaning of the ring is that to exercise the omnipotence of which ocular fascination is one of the most difficult proofs to provide. So one must possess all of the sciences and know how to make use of it. And this is all in Transmutations. So, fascination operates through magnetism. So, think about that. Alright, so the secret of invisibility is thus entirely part of a power that we can define, that of diverting or paralyzing attention in a way that the light arrives at the visual organ without exciting vision in the soul. That's how invisibility works. But not in the way that we would think, invisible. So, but to exercise this power, one must have a will practiced in sudden and energetic arts, a great presence of mind, and no less great a skill in originating distractions among the crowds. So, you don't just do it just to show off. That's just... Alright, so the person who wants to be seen always makes sure that he is noticed, and the one who wishes to remain unseen effaces himself and disappears. So the will is vertebral ring of Gyges. I'm saying that name wrong. So it is also the wand of transmutations, and it is by formulating it clearly and strongly that it creates the magical verb. The omnipotent word of enchantments are those that express this creative power of the forms, the tetragrammatron. The tetragrammatron, which is the supreme word of magic, signifies what is will be, and if we apply ourselves to any transformation whatsoever with full intelligence, it will renew and modify all things. It's very interesting, isn't it? So, even despite the evidence and the common sense, the hoc est of the Christian sacrifice is a translation and an application of the tetragrammatron. So, the simple words operate the most complete and the most invisible, the most incredible, and the most clearly affirmed of all transformations. So, as even more powerful doctrinal word, that of transformations was judged necessary by the Council of Trent to express this marvel. Transmutation. The Hebrew words YHVH, AGLA, AHIH, Amen. So, they were regarded by all the Kabbalists as the keys to transformation magic. So, the Latin words est, sit, esto, fiat have the same strength when they are pronounced with full intelligence. So, a little bit about when we are doing our magic, and a little bit of information on what we want to do on the board. That helps a lot, so that's why I said to come up with your prayer and to do your reenactments. It's very, very, very important. So, alright, so the verb of wisdom determines the form of things, or even their substance, independent of their forms. So, pretty interesting. Just very interesting stuff. So I had to show you guys that. Had to tell you guys that. Had to just kind of get that out of the way. So yes, you guys can use that in your any kind of magical practice. It doesn't have to be just invisibility. It can be anything. Anything at all. So, it's pretty fun. Alright, so now with the tarot. So have we been doing our daily tarot? Have we been taking, looking back and seeing how we have grown with the tarot? Alright, where did I leave off? Where did I leave off yesterday? We left off with the devil, didn't we? Yes, we did. We left off with the devil. So, alright, this is part 5. We left off at the tower, actually. Okay. The star. The star card. Very, very amazing. Amazing card. So, let's see if I can find the star card. She should be right up here. So she's very different within the Cosmic Tarot. So you can see the star, the 6-pointed star, down. So, basically, guidance from above, spiritual guidance. What do I get from that? Spiritual guidance. Spirit, yes, a spirit almost on the verge of manifestation. So, and there's more. There's also the 6-pointed star at the top. Right here. So, what is the star card? The ripples that we send out. Which is pretty amazing. I love this card. So, alright, the star within the cosmic tarot. So, a woman stands on the edge of a lake, a flamingo at her side. So, she pours water from 2 cups into the lake, the liquid pouring over a lotus. The rays of the star in the sky meet the moon, the star on the woman's headband, and a rising star. So, within the cosmos, the 6-pointed Magnan David, Star of David, is a symbol of the ancient religion of Judaism. The Hebrew people evolved a monotheistic religion in the midst of a pagan land, like the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva triad, which is in reality only one Godhead. So, Yahweh, Jehovah, who is also called Adonai, is creator, sustainer, destroyer, all in one. So we can see the different Godheads in one card. That represents almost all of them. So, the 6-pointed star shows 2 triangles, one pointing up and one pointing down. Now these triangles can be seen to represent the action of the animal or earthly body aspiring to spirit, and the spirit becoming incarnate, inhabiting the body. So, it could be the birth of something new. Possibly. Birth of new ideas, anything. So in the book of Genesis, man is earth dust vivified by the breath of the divine creator. So the word spirit derives from the Latin spiritus, which means breath. So, in the same way, the Egyptian creator Ptah fashioned clay statues of humans, and he breathed life into them. And Jesus is called the Word of God made flesh, and the Word rides on the breath, hence the power of praying or chanting out loud. So, many Hindus consider Christ to be like Krishna, an avatar, an emanation of Vishnu. So the deity descended into bodily form. So basically we are all like Krishna or Christ. We all contain the breath of divine potency in an earthen vessel of our flesh. So the beautiful woman on the star card represents divinity in nature. So she also lights up divinity within ourselves and within everything else. Very amazing. Alright, so within the human community. So the star card is the ecology card of the tarot. Unashamed of her natural body, unafraid to stir the waters of the deep. So the woman, she circulates the waters, as we've seen. As the rain feeds the waterfall, as groundwater feeds the spring that wells up from below. The bird at the woman's side is trusting. So humankind will never return en masse to the primitive life unless a grand catastrophe wipes out civilization. However, we vitally need to stay in touch with our Earth. Nature is a mirror of society, true, and of humankind's collective consciousness or soul, or karma. Exploitation, or generosity, carelessness, or long-term planning, ignorance, or knowledge are all reflected in the rivers, the mountains, the oceans, and the sky. So, as above, so below, as within, as without. Basic tenet right there. Alright, so, the individual, the star as us, within us. So, the star is one of the most auspicious cards in this deck. It is pure hope. Pure hope. Unsustained by arrogance, disappointment, and doubt. Hope before the solidifying act of faith, fluid, and inspired. So basically manifestation. So the hope of the star is not grounded in material or psychological desire. It is the thought of salvation or enlightenment. So hope for the good of all beings. So the star illuminates the divinity in everyone and in everything. So it is the realm of miracles, which would be pretty nice right now. The experience of the star can be one of those days when you wake up joyous for no special reason. We all have those days. A day when the faces of people on the street are beautiful, even with the suffering that marks them. The experience of the star card can be divine ecstasy. It's very interesting. I love that. So yes. Very good card. Very good card to meditate with, meditate on, work with in magic. very great. So we have the moon, which is very different. So here we have the moon, giving us blessings. Lots going on. Lots going on. Alright, so the moon. A crayfish crawls out of the waters, attracted by the moon, the ebb and flow. So, within the moon are two fish, symbolic of the astrological sign Pisces, which is ruled by watery Neptune. The sky opens to the immensity of the cosmos. So, I always take the moon. I always thought the moon was more of a negative card from the Rider-Waite Tarot, but it's not. It's actually a pretty good card. So, alright, within the cosmos, the moon. So, a metaphor of the way in which lunar forces manifest can be seen in the tides of the earth. So, we cannot see any force emanating from the moon to perform the massive work of moving Earth's oceans, rivers, lakes, and topsoil. So, but we know that happens. So the unseen, intangible force of the moon is perceived only through its effects. So that is within just the cosmos. Now within the human community, archetypically, the moon rules the unconscious mind, the part of the mind that is unknown to us, and yet can motivate our actions and our thoughts. So, the unconscious is not evil in itself, but it is dangerous in that it can circumvent reason and conscience, and powerful in that its roots lie partially in physical and emotional gratification. So there is one small little downside. So in The Undiscovered Self, Carl Jung points to the danger of a society in which reason and insight do not figure strongly. Excuse me. Fanatic, fantasizing types know how to fish in the depths of the collective unconscious to draw forth psychotic behavior from the masses. So, genocide, witch hunts, totalitarianism, cruel expresses in scientific research on animals and humans, citizens spying on citizens, and ethnic cleansing, quote unquote. Two questions arise after atrocities. Two words arise after atrocities are made unbearably clear to the world. We did not realize what was happening. Why did we let it continue? We fear the answer to such questions. Yeah, pretty much. So, facing up to the obscure currents of human nature need not be an exercise in permission of pessimism or self-flagellation. Manifestations of social insanity are easily recognizable. Cruelty and prejudice are the major distinguishing characteristics. Like any serious illness, they should not be ignored, especially since they tend to run a plague course if unchecked. So that's where the lunatics come from. Luna, the moon. So, self-knowledge is, at the least, a beginning of responsibility for our actions. So, the moon has a bright face, as well as an obscure one. Inspiration arises from the depths of the psyche to find expression in the arts, which in turn illuminate the human psyche through engaging all of our faculties. So, it's pretty cool. The senses, the intellect, the emotions, and the imagination. There's the imagination again. Very important. So, an artwork can be polemic or propagandistic, but the most effective are not those that have the answers, but those that raise questions, stimulating insight. So, solidarity and sympathy among people can come simply through exposition of the human heart. When an Asian is moved by an African dance, when a Tennessee Williams' play meets with the great success in Russia, we find that we are not so different from each other at all. So, the moon rules healing that depends on intuition and faith rather than empirical science and technology. Many of us have had the experience of visiting the doctor after doctor until we finally connect with one who makes the proper diagnosis and prescribes a helpful treatment. So, interesting. Healers with lunar power can be found in mainstream medicine, but tend to gravitate to alternative and folk medicine, especially herbalism. That describes my family doctor to a T. She's all for regular medicine, but she prefers alternative, holistic healing in conjunction with your regular regimen. So that's pretty cool that kind of just popped up right there. So now the moon as the individual within us. So like the moon, Pisces is able to see into the darkness, the emotional life, the hidden currents of the psyche, clairvoyancy, inexplicable urges. All are to Pisces as to water is to the fish. So through Pisces is able to absorb and reflect the emotions of others. He or she is introverted, inclined to hide his or her own deeper feelings. Alright, Pisces might be a mystic, a teacher, a speculative scientist, or an artist, especially an actor, or Pisces can descend into delusions of power with witchery, charlatanism, a celebrity complex, or even fascism. So, we do have a downside to the moon card. Ooh. Ringing of the ears. So the forces of the moon act strongly on the watery temperament of Pisces, evoking vulnerability, susceptibility, and the tendency to indulge in languid pleasures and mind-altering substances. Like a fish, Pisces will submerge himself or herself in the element chosen. So, easily becoming an egotistical socialite, an addict of drugs and or dreams, a fanatic, or a charismatic leader, a martyr who sacrifices everything for his or her faith, a true medium, devoted and sensitive lover, a great actor who enlightens us with his or her portrayal of the undercurrents of the human life. So, the individual symbolized by the moon can be one who is all things to all people, unquote. We gravitate to these celebrities, all vulnerability and all charisma, with great talent, often inextricability, mixed with androgynous persona. So, we can see why we are attracted to certain people through the moon card. So, where'd I go? So, lunar qualities have been called feminine, in contrast to the solar masculine qualities. So women are perceived to be more at home in the realm of the emotions, and are supposed to be more intuitive. In fact, beyond the amount of emotional display allowed by culture, men seem to feel as much joy, sorrow, anger, and so on as women, and women have the rational and analytical faculties that men have. So, the moon warns of hidden currents, possibly gossip and intrigue. The moon can also indicate a breakthrough, especially in scholarly or artistic work. With sudden insight, a new realm opens. I love that. So, the 12 stars around the moon are arranged like the hours of a clock, indicating time perceived as a cycle, rather than a linear. For women of childbearing age, the moon directs attention to the reproductive health, as the menstrual cycle generally synchronizes with the moon cycle. So the moon may indicate thoughts and having children. The moon can also signal menopause, which we all know. So that was the card that I drew last night for you, my sister. Very interesting too. Very interesting. So tonight I will be asking Baphomet on your behalf what is actually going on, because I'm very curious. I'm very curious as to what is going on. It's an amazing, amazing thing. All the pictures that I do, babies everywhere. There are babies just everywhere. So, and it better not be mine. No, I'm joking. It couldn't be mine. So, the next card is the Sun. Find her. There we go. Okay, the Sun. So we have night and day. The moon can be seen. We see a child. So this represents childhood, childhood memories, inner strength. It keeps. So there we go. The lilies or the white flowers are purity. So the Sun. Very different from. No, not so much different from the Rider-Waite Tarot. I'm trying to keep a good, brave face for you guys, so just bear with me. So the vet told us that time is not on our side. So I have got to come up with something. Healing spell, I don't know what the fuck to do. I have toenails, if anybody has any fucking suggestions. Yes, I've got toenails, whatever. So I'm gonna have to go with the moon card. Use my intuition for healing. There we go. Thank you. Alright, the Sun. A child plays in an idyllic landscape. The sun blazes above. Overarching all is the starry sky. So, balance. Lots of balance. I'm very uncomfortable today. I can't get comfortable. So, there we go. I can fit almost my entire body into this tiny box. Okay, the sun within the cosmos. So the sun has been worshipped throughout history. That's funny because Chihuahuas literally worship the sun. Did you guys know that? They do. They worship the sun. It's funny. So it's been worshipped throughout history, and no wonder, for its very light can nature or destroy mortals. Unpitying sunlight forms deserts and wastelands. The depletion of our natural sun shield, the ozone layer of the atmosphere, has made the rays of the sun more cancerous, basically. So, tell me, Mr. President, that there is no such thing as global warming. Anyways, where did I go? The sun is also the bringer of health, a universal disinfectant and healer, because of the vitamins that you receive from the sun literally make you happy and disinfect. Did you know that? So that is why we place some crystals in the sun, such as black stones. They disinfect, literally. That's amazing. Isn't it amazing what our world can do? So, alright. And a healer. So, organisms hostile to human life, such as bacteria, mold, and mildew, are often defeated by the heat and the light of the sun. There we go. Mental depression can be alleviated by exposure to sunlight. I wouldn't say so, no. So in past centuries, Europeans perceived the Earth as being at the center of the cosmos, which is very untrue. The center of awareness later shifted, and now we place the sun at the center of our solar system. So, the universe is not known to have a center or a system at all, through or a boundary, so basically now nothing. The sun is the center of our world. Just our world. Who knows? It could be the center of another planet that we don't know. Could very well be. Whatever happened to Pluto? I heard that Pluto got taken out of the category of planets because it doesn't rotate exactly with the sun or something like that. So yes, the Europeans perceive the Earth as being at the center of the cosmos, which is very untrue. So, as we know, yes, our world. So the sun is the center of just our world. Many, maybe others, I don't know. As we know it, a constant flux of creation, maintenance, and destruction. So again, we see that trident, like Vishnu, Shiva, Krishna, creator, preserver, destroyer, birth, death, rebirth. So, alright, within the human community, the sun. So archetypically, the sun represents the ability to reason, to assess facts, and to be objective. The rational mind is a valid, valuable part of the human psyche. But the light of reason can be a merciless ray. That is where the astral light comes in. When you get intoxicated with the astral light, you go, what? It's crazy. You go literally crazy. So, intolerance for foolish sentiment, as well as hidebound academia, rigid philosophies that codify a flawed status quo. The ideal of the self-sufficient, complacent, self-man-made are examples of social sunburn. So, within my book, Ouija Pop, under Zozo, that is a social sunburn. Literally, a social sunburn. Sorry if I'm not my usual bubbly, happy self, guys. Alright, so yes, that is the social sunburn. So an over-solarized society is less inclined to sympathize with those who are down and out, and are more inclined to rationalize stinginess and alienation. So what doesn't fit? What doesn't fit into the lunar culture's rosy self-image will be mocked or suppressed. Lunar types arouse mass psychosis. It's also in my book. So, the heat of solar passion often disguises rational solutions to social problems, energizes mobs to act on the lunacy. So that's completely different. They say that people act on lunacy because of the moon. Luna, lunacy, lunatic, crazy. That was a really strong roll of the R. Wow. I did dream of a lot of Spanish stuff last night. So, alright. That's weird. So, alright, tempered by compassion and insight. The rational mind is a priceless treasure. The Constitution of the United States was famed by men whose value of reason and knowledge transcended self-interest and personal emotional considerations. So, the insightful, rational mind allows us to see that prejudice is based on fear and negative conditioning. As the intuitive mind turns toward the unknown, reason prompts us to investigate. So, science has gifted us with the... Ooh, I'm gonna flip my ash. Alright, so science has given us the advances. Advances in disease control. For example, simple concepts of hygiene, now taken for granted, were inspired by the revelations of the microscope. Fun. I love this. Educational and scientific institutions and doctors who rely on empiricism and technology are often in the realm of the sun. Pretty interesting how it can categorize people and put them, not put them in boxes, but in archetypal. If you are an archetypal figure, it's pretty interesting. Okay, so the child on the card indicates that innocence and candor are also fostered by the sun. So these qualities translate into openness and accountability in governments and institutions, and patriotism, inspired by equitable government, whereas the strength card refers to the might of the armed forces and the police. So the sun card focuses on honor, bravery, and glamour these institutions can have. So, we can see a little bit of everything within the Sun card. Now, within ourselves, the Sun. So the Sun can shine with brilliant intensity. The solar type can be filled with passion, unlike the Piscean lunar type. What am I? I'm a Sun child. Strangely enough, a Sun child does not hide or be lost in his or her emotions. The solar type relishes sharing all. That'd be me. Sharing all with everyone. I do. I share too much. And natural charisma ensures an eager and devoted audience. So Leo, ruled by the Sun, is the astrological sign most connected with show business. Like lunar qualities, solar qualities are beautiful when balanced. Objectivity is warmed by patriotism, and loyalty. Reason is deepened with intuition. The sense of right and wrong is graced by compassion. Tibetan Buddhist iconography represents the moon as soothing, cooling effect of compassion on the troubled mind, whereas the Sun represents the fearless and intense quality of wisdom that burns away the obscurations that prevent us from realizing the wondrous nature of the mind. So, make the connection between the moon and the Sun. Very, very interesting. So the Sun card indicates a balanced, objective person with a strict sense of honor. As a companion, this person will be passionate but discreet and honest, sometimes painfully so. The Sun can herald a flamboyant person, a teller of tall tales, an entertaining and charming braggart. The glare of the spotlight is to this person rays of beneficent sunshine. Fearlessness is a trait that all solar types share. The Sun may bring a daredevil. So, a soldier, or anyone who is unafraid to fight for their cause, or for a share of the loot. The Sun can be a physician who was, son of the Greek solar god Apollo. The Sun generally points to good health, but children are born under the benevolence of the Sun. The Sun card may indicate children born to a woman who is past her childbearing prime. Pretty interesting, isn't it? I find it pretty interesting. So, we have Judgment now, which is one of my favorite cards in this deck. I love Judgment. It is completely different. So renewal, refreshment, new ideas, just all kinds of newness, just everything, refreshed, feeling good, all of that. Judgment. So 3 trumpets reach from the cosmos to wake the dead. 2 women and a man spring from the parched soil. A manacle breaks away from one of the woman's wrists. A spectrum of light is cast from the Sun. A very amazing card. I say that about every single card. But I love these cards. They're amazing. I do. Alright. 3 trump. Okay, I already read that. The Cosmos Judgment depicts the end of the cosmic cycle, or the end of the cosmos altogether. Okay, so, and the beginning of something new. The miracle takes place all the time. A seed falls to the ground and decays, and a plant pushes its way to the light. The flood that destroys all in its path leaves a rich, nurturing silt when it recedes. Shit, hold on guys, I'll be right back. Alright, I had to pee really bad. So, sorry. And yes, I washed my hands. Did you? That was great. Now, where did I go, guys? Alright, Judgment represents not only the end of a place of material existence, but also the end of a time. The end of a time. phase, a time period, not the end of everything. So, where'd I go? Okay, how can we conceive this? So how do we understand this? All but the most realized beings have no more idea of timelessness or eternity than an acorn has of an oak. Through the unfolding of enlightenment is encoded within each of us, as the oak is in the acorn. So, I don't know why that was funny. That was very funny. Alright. Okay, now judgment within the human community. So, a Buddhist teaching says, if you want to know what you were in a past life, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Try it. Okay, so what has come into being sprang from the past, just as the immortals on the card are reborn in human form. For example, even strong democracies tend to focus on single leaders. Presidents or prime ministers, as our ancestors, bowed to kings and queens. So, we build from the ancient materials, often without realizing it. The great Indian statesman, I'm not even going to say this, Nehru said, we are all individuals, as well as nations, products of our past. Call it hereditary or the cumulative I'm not even going to try effect of action in our environments. So, to that extent, and it is a great deal, we are children of destiny, bound in many ways to walk along a predetermined path. True, kinda. So the thought blends the feeling of X, Wheel of Fortune, the halfway point to Judgment, and the Judgment card. Very different. So, as we evaluate the past by examining the present, so the future will be defined by the present. Key. There's a key right there. So, Nehru spoke of destiny not as ordained by gods, but rather is inherited from formations of the past, which is very true. History repeats itself. Until we change, until we learn. So, equality or inequity, freedom or oppression, prosperity or disparity of wealth. We leave these to our children, our grandchildren, and their children, obviously. The generations to come will be our ultimate judge. Alright, now, the judgment card within us, the individual. So, alright, the resurrection of the body is a tenet of most sects of Christianity, and the image of people in physical forms rising from tombs and graves is familiar in Western art. People of many religions, other religions, cultures have focused attention on after-death survival of the physical body. So, like the Egyptians, they believe that they came back with a physical body, in the correct body. I hope that helps somebody. So, where'd I go? Okay, as evidenced by the development of the science of embalming and customs of making material offerings to the dead. So one could say that all of this attention to the after-death body is simply a fear of extinction. But I think that people like us, we know. So we don't need, we don't have a fear. I don't fear death. I don't fear death whatsoever. It doesn't faze me. I mean, I know I'm going to die one day, so I just, it doesn't faze me. Sure, it scares me a little, because it's new. Where'd I go? Okay, so we are not souls with bodies, as dangling appendages. Are your appendages dangling today? nor are our processes all physical. Whether we believe in reincarnation and karma, or in one lifetime that is judged by a god, or in a life with no other after-death existence, it is obvious that body and mind are interdependent, but they're balanced, so they have to work together. We do not. What we do with our bodies imprints on our souls, the streams of consciousness. So, think about your tattoos that you get. Think about those, and vice versa. So this is karma, or judgment. The traces left in our minds by good or evil actions condition us to gravitate toward good or evil, love or hate, compassion or self-centeredness. Another big key right there. So judgment forces us to confront the consequences of our actions, physical and mental. Patterns created throughout life now solidify and are held up for evaluation. The final reckoning has come, whether one is ready for it or not. In a day-to-day sense, judgment indicates a transformation or breakthrough. So, a sense of suffocating frustration gives way to fresh air and problem solved. Though I wish abilities that have been hidden come to light. One is permeated with the delightful feeling of renewal, of rebirth, and rejuvenation. So, we left off here at the Judgment card. Amazing. Simply amazing. So much can be categorized and explained just through these 22 simple keys. So, totally understand where Levi is coming from in his workings. Totally understand where Crowley went overboard and got intoxicated with the astral light. It makes sense. It does make sense. So, what else? It's amazing. It's very true that, in Kabbalah, these are the keys to life. So, just note of the past sections of when I said key. There's a key. I refer back to Levi's work, which is fucking amazing. So, alright guys. I hope you all have a good day, a good weekend coming up. So, how about we have a full moon ritual? How does that sound? I will set the event up on my public Facebook page. And anybody that wants to join, you are more than welcome, always. Anybody on this channel. So, thank you for all the new subscribers, all of your comments. I haven't gotten to them lately. I will do coffee talk sooner or later. I just have to keep my mind focused and busy, so I don't freak out and fall apart, like the House of Cards. So, up to, I don't know how much, like almost 300 for Chico and his surgery. So thank you to everybody that has donated to him. So, thank you. Yes, that's all I have to say is thank you. I don't want to even think about that right now. So, alright guys, so let's plan on a full moon ritual. Let me see when full moon is. If I can find there it is. Alright, full moon is coming up in, I know it's soon. We have 5 days. 5 days. So, I will blog a little full moon ritual for us on what we can do, on just the possibilities of just what we could do. So, you guys can feel free to join. You guys know how I work, so just do what you do. So, alright guys, I will see you all tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a good day and a good weekend, and I love you all very much. So, with all of my heart, all the way from Venus, all the way back down. So, I'll see you all tomorrow. And everybody have a good day. Stay warm. It's freezing. So, alright guys. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching.